Hello. So some of you will already know that back in 2019 I was lucky enough to be the Habitat category winner for the British Wildlife Photography Awards, and the prize for that was a trip with Wildlife Worldwide over to Skomer Island. And obviously the pandemic happened before I was able to claim that prize, and for a while it looked like I wouldn't be able to ever get out to Skomer Island. But this year, and in fact tomorrow, I'm off, getting in the car and driving for 6 or 7 hours to Pembrokeshire, and then the following morning I'll be getting on a ferry for a 2 night stay on Skomer Island. And I'm really excited, and I thought what would be good is for me to share ahead of going out there my approach, what's on my mind, what I'm thinking, and what I'm hoping to achieve for this really exciting and unique opportunity. So the main thing that's going on in the back of my mind and the forefront of my mind and in the middle of my mind are batteries and whether I've got enough batteries to go for 2 nights and a morning the following morning. Now I'm pretty good with my batteries. I'm used to going, I don't know, 15, 16 hours without having a charge point or anything like that. But 2 nights and a following morning is, pushing me out of my comfort zone. So I've bought a couple of extra batteries, and it will definitely, I'll be thinking more aware of it and conscious of it as I go through that period, those 2 nights. And yeah, I know it's not the most exciting thing to talk about batteries, and memory cards are an important thing as well, but I pretty much got that covered. But I think that kind of without power and without memory cards, you can't create, you can't take pictures, and you can't create stuff. So it's a really boring thing. It's not something I particularly enjoy spending money on, but it's really fundamental and a really important foundation to be able to work from, to make sure that you've got enough power and space to create what you want to create. And so that's the main thing that's been on my mind. But also equipment wise, I don't know how helpful it is to list and detail all the specific equipment and brands and models that stuff I'll be taking with me. I'll be taking as much equipment as I can fit in my bag. But from that point of view, I mean, I'll be taking a mirrorless. I'll be taking a Canon R6 with a 500mm lens and a 1.4 extender on, which if you're quick at maths will know that's a sort of reach of 700 mils. And alongside that I'll be taking the A7R4 with a 20mm lens on, which is a setup I've really fallen in love with, because it really helps me to get across the scenery, the landscape, the context, and tell a little bit of a narrative alongside those detailed and close-up or action shots as well. And I know that equipment's coming from a real privileged position. I mean, it hasn't always been that way, and if I'm being honest, I spend more money than I should on equipment at times. But if it was from the past, if before I was in the position where I am, I would probably almost certainly be going with a 5D DSLR camera with probably a 100 to 400 lens and a Canon PowerShot bridge compact camera with me as well to do the same thing. But if I was in that position today, I'd probably stick with the 5D DSLR and a 100 to 400 zoom lens, but use my phone as that go between, that camera that adds context and story and narrative to it, because those camera phones now are just really versatile and really great. Regardless of whether you put specific settings in, you can use those phones just on fully auto and get some great, as long as the thought process and the approach is right, you can really tell great stories just using your phone. So that's the sort of setup, if you like, that I'll be going out with. As I said, if you want a more detailed list, let me know, and I'll try and add it in either in the comments or the description for you. But what I really want to talk about is that approach and my thinking and what I'm thinking about that I'm going to photograph when I'm out there. And you can't really predict what's going to happen. You can't predict the weather. I've never been there before, so I don't know exactly what to expect. But what I do know is that Skomer is a really popular destination for people who want to see, watch and photograph puffins. And whilst I will inevitably photograph puffins there, what I don't want to do is just regurgitate some of those classic iconic images that we've seen that have come out of Skomer already. I want to interpret and see and shed something new, so share something new, like shed some light on something that might not have come out of that island before. So from that point of view, I've been looking through the itinerary from Wildlife Worldwide, and I've been sort of going over how can I approach something differently and see things differently. And this is the kind of thing that's in the back of my mind whatever I'm photographing, whenever I'm anywhere, is what can I say that hasn't been said before? What can I show people, and what can I communicate that hasn't come out of here already? And I look through some of these things. One of the interesting things is the Skomer vole, a subspecies of the vole that's unique to Skomer Island. So that's something that's interesting, that would be worth exploring. The other thing that's really interesting, that really caught my eye, I nearly missed it actually, but then when I saw it, it really caught my eye and imagination, is that a population of glowworms. So I've not seen glowworms for a long time. I've only seen them once, in fact, and that was in northern Spain. And what I say now is just gonna on a surfing holiday. But do not be fooled. I was not. My mates were surfing. I struggled to bodyboard. So, but I went camping with them, and we saw these glowworms lining a sort of cave or mountainside anyway. And I photographed them with 35mm film. That's how long ago it was. And so I'd love to have an opportunity to photograph glowworms if that presents itself. But I think the other thing is, what I'm thinking is, the more I'm thinking is telling a story of maybe this it's a popular destination, and one of the temptations is, whenever you go to places where there's actually people, is to try and avoid putting them in the picture. And one of the things that I'm thinking is maybe actually looking at it from an eco-tourist perspective, and looking at documenting that human interaction with this really popular wildlife attraction. So that's something that's in the back of my mind. There's a warden that lives on site. That could be an interesting thing to explore as well. So there's a few things that have piqued my interest, and so it certainly will be in the back of my mind, avenues to explore. And I think it's important that you stay flexible and you follow the route that sort of starts to work as you go, but thinking about it before rather than as soon as you arrive, these different avenues that allow you to sort of start taking a route down there. If it doesn't quite work, you backtrack and follow other things. But just engaging those gears to thinking about what I want to achieve, what might be possible, what might shed some kind of interesting light on a very, very well photographed environment. That's at the key of what I want to do when I get out there. So those are the sort of avenues I'm going to explore. Maybe it will end up being something totally different, but that's what I wanted to share with you. That's where I'm going on. And the next time I see you will be either as I approach Skomer or when I'm on Skomer. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stay with me for what's going to be a really exciting adventure.